If you ask me, the piano is basically a near perfect instrument, and I still play it all the time. But it's not isomorphic, which in regards to music means any musical pattern has the same shape or appearance no matter which pitch it starts on. And I think that's one of the major strengths of the Lumatone here. Its unique hexagonal layout allows us to program any mapping of notes, including isomorphic ones. And a super popular example of an isomorphic mapping can be found in the Bosanquet-Wilson layout. So let's take a look. All right, Dave again, and on today's episode, we're gonna dive into the first preset that you'll find on your Lumatone. And a pattern you'll notice finds its way onto many different Lumatone mappings, certainly on a lot of various microtonal ones. Today, we'll look at the basic concept and see how it can be used with the standard 12-tone tuning. It's called the Bosanquet-Wilson layout, named after Robert Bosenket, who worked on generalized keyboards utilizing alternate tunings in the 1870s, and Irv Wilson, who expanded upon these ideas in the 1960s. Those generalized keyboards were kind of like the great-granddaddy of the Lumatone. And when you map their ideas to the Lumatone, we kind of get this familiar piano-like pattern. But where that pattern is positioned creates beautiful and powerful musical isomorphism. So what does musical isomorphism look like? Take the guitar, for example. It's mostly an isomorphic instrument, though the interval between the G and the B string interrupt this slightly. However, if you were to play a bar chord, say a G major 7, you could take that same shape and move it up and down the fretboard to play another major 7 chord. So let's see how the Bosanquet-Wilson layout behaves in the same way with a simple 12-tone tuning. So in this color scheme, we have the white keys representing the naturals from C to B, where the blue keys represent the sharps. We have semitones ascending up this axis, where we have whole tones ascending up this horizontal axis. And since it's not a microtonal layout, we have repeating notes ascending up this axis. So these repeating notes become really useful. You know, having multiple options on where to land a note or chord can really free up your playing. But let's take a look at how to build some chords as universal shapes. All right, let's start with just a major triad shape. So noticing the piano-like structure here with the naturals and the sharps, you got patterns of 2 sharps, 3 sharps, 3 naturals, 4 naturals. So our C would be at the beginning of the 3 pattern natural here. To find the major third, we go 2 whole steps up from the root, so up the horizontal whole step axis, 1, 2, we find the E. To find our 5th, we go a whole step and a half up from our 3rd, 1 and a half, we find the G. And that's our major triad shape. And to play a minor triad, we simply pull that major 3rd back 1 semitone position, so down the semitone axis, we find the minor 3rd. And there's our minor triad shape. Alternately, since this is not a microtonal layout, as I mentioned before, we have repeating notes going up this axis. So if you didn't want your shape to look like this, you could go up to the repeating note of your 3rd here, the repeating note of your 5th here, which can come in handy if you wanted to, add a 7th onto that minor chord. Could be more comfortable to play it like this. But just sticking to the triads here, we can move that same shape anywhere on the keyboard to play another triad. So what about playing bigger chords? Well, we know if you want to play 11th chords, you're essentially stacking 2 triads together. In the case of a major 11th, you're stacking a minor triad above it. In the case of a minor 11th, you're stacking a major triad above it. This can sometimes take a second to calculate if you're not playing in a key that you're used to, But this is the beauty of musical isomorphism. Learn the shape of both a major and minor triad, and transpose that chord any way you want by simply moving that shape. So let's take a look at the shape of those lovely 11th chords. To build a major 11th chord with the sharp 11, also known as a Lydian chord, what we want to do is stack a minor triad shape above a major triad shape. So let's pull up a major triad. Let's say we want to do an A major sharp 11. Go 2 whole steps above the 5th, 1, 2, where we find the major 7, and from there we can play a minor triad shape. And that gives us our sharp 11 chord shape. Now if we want to play a minor 11th chord shape, we just take that major 3rd, bring it back down to a semitone where the minor 3rd is, go up a step and a half, where we find the minor 7, and from there we play a major triad. And that would be your minor 11 shape. So we got our Lydian sharp 11 shape and our minor 11 chord shape. And again, put this shape anywhere to play another 11th chord. In this case, my ring finger is on the root of the chord. So wherever you put that root finger, the same shape will give you the same kind of chord corresponding to that root note. And obviously it doesn't stop there. Learn the shape of any chord you'd like. Augmented, diminished. Maybe you want to play a 7th chord while omitting the 3rd. Move that chord around in your progression while eliminating a whole lot of distractions. Make more room for intuition to feel what you want to play. And by omitting the 3rd in that 7th shape in our left hand, we can use our right hand to dictate whether it will be a minor 7th or a dominant 7th. And maybe you want your left hand to do some runs of some 4th or 3rd intervals. Just know the shape of those intervals and let the colored pattern guide you as you glide down the board. So you can see how this starts to become an extremely useful and inspiring tool for writing and performing. Not just for seasoned musicians, but for folks who are just starting to learn music. I really wish I had something like this when I was first learning. It frames music in such a straightforward and in-your-face way, yet at the same time it removes the need for music theory if you just want to follow your gut and play. But the Bosanquet-Wilson is just one way to map notes isomorphically on the Lumatone. In the next video, we're going to talk about the harmonic table in all of its glory. Hit or even tap that like and subscribe button and you won't miss it. Until next time, thanks for watching.